My name is Vivien Mercer. I'm 68 years old, and 3 months ago, I came within inches of dying not from illness, not from accident, but from a cup of coffee laced with poison. A cup my daughter-in-law handed to me. A cup I almost drank. But the real betrayal? It wasn't just the poison. It was the person standing beside her, watching silent, cold. My only son, Julian. People say you can't choose your family. Maybe that's true. But I never thought the same child I once held in my arms would one day look me in the eye and quietly hope I wouldn't survive the morning. This isn't a story about wealth, though there's plenty of that. It's not just about betrayal, though. That runs deep. This is a story about survival, about instincts, about refusing to die quietly when the people closest to you decide you're worth more dead than alive. And if you're thinking this sounds like something out of a movie, I wish you were right. But everything I'm about to share happened, piece by painful piece, and it all began on a Tuesday morning, with a familiar sound in the driveway and a knock I'll never forget. I live alone on a 50-acre estate in rural Virginia. Ashwood, that's what my late husband Robert named it. The house sits on land rich with natural gas and rare earth minerals, inherited through generations of hard work and harder luck. We were never flashy people, but the fortune was real, and so were the vultures it attracted. The estate itself is quiet now, grand, but empty. Since Robert passed 5 years ago, the silence has grown louder, and the weight of keeping the legacy alive has fallen entirely on my shoulders. 14 rooms, crystal chandeliers, hand-carved furniture. None of it matters when you're the last one walking the halls. For decades, I worked as a prosecutor, 25 years of looking criminals in the eye and listening for lies. That job teaches you things. You start to hear the small cracks in people's voices. You start to notice what doesn't get said. I never imagined I'd have to use that experience on my own family, but I should have known. Money doesn't just change strangers. Sometimes it sharpens the hunger in the people you love most. It whispers promises to them at night, and if you're not careful, it teaches them to look at you not as blood, but as an obstacle. That Tuesday morning, I was in my study reviewing quarterly earnings when I heard the familiar hum of Julian's car, a sleek black BMW. The sound used to make me smile. Now it made me anxious. He rarely came unannounced, and never without a reason. Julian Mercer was always the kind of man people noticed, tall, clean-cut, with the kind of charisma that got him into Ivy League schools and investor meetings without ever really earning it. He had charm, yes, but charm doesn't build anything, and charm fades fast when failure becomes a pattern. He stepped out of the car that morning looking worn, not physically, but in spirit. His tailored suit was wrinkled, hair a little unkempt. His eyes carried that restless energy I'd seen before, desperation trying to dress itself up as confidence. "Mom," he said, walking straight into my study without knocking. "We need to talk." He sat down across from me, hands trembling slightly, though he tried to hide it. I put down my reading glasses and studied his face. Something was different this time. Not just urgency, fear. "I need money," he said flatly. 100,000. There it was. Julian had pitched me many ventures before. A boutique app for rating luxury spas. A vegan snack line that never made it past the packaging stage. Every idea full of buzzwords. Every failure dressed up in excuses. Each time, I gave in hoping he'd finally make it. Hoping he'd grow into something stable, something real. But this time felt different. Sharper, colder. He wasn't asking. He was informing. "What's the venture this time?" I asked. "A marketing platform," he said, launching into a rehearsed pitch about tech partners and projections. It sounded slick. Too slick. I interrupted. "Who's your partner?" "You don't know him. He's from California," Julian said, eyes flickering away. "What's his name?" He hesitated. "Mom, that's not important. What matters is the opportunity." That moment told me everything. He was lying. I'd spent decades watching liars spin stories in courtrooms, and now my own son was spinning one right in front of me. And just like the defendants I once questioned, Julian was hiding something big. And this time, it wasn't just about money. It was about survival. His or mine. 2 days later, Julian returned. But he didn't come alone. His wife, Samantha or Sam, as she liked to be called, arrived with him, impeccably dressed as always. Cream-colored designer dress, flawless makeup, and the kind of posture that made every movement feel like a performance. "I hope you don't mind us dropping by," she said with a practiced smile, stepping into my kitchen like she owned it. "We brought coffee." She handed me a delicate china cup. "It's a special blend, Ethiopian beans with a touch of Madagascar vanilla. I thought you'd enjoy something new." The moment the aroma hit my nose, something in me pulled back. It smelled wrong, not spoiled, not rancid, but sharp like almonds, and beneath that, a sterile bitterness. After 3 decades of courtroom experience, I didn't need scientific proof. My body told me first. Something about this was off. I looked up, and Sam was watching me, not casually, closely. Like a hunter watching prey approach a snare, Julian lingered in the doorway, unusually quiet. He avoided my eyes, kept fiddling with his phone, his usual restless charm replaced with something darker, like guilt wrapped in stillness. And in that moment, I made a decision that would save my life. While Sam turned to speak to Julian, I switched. Our cups, identical mugs, smooth white porcelain. It took less than 2 seconds. When she turned back, I raised the new cup and smiled. "This is lovely. You'll have to show me the shop sometime." Sam took a sip from her own, my original, and I waited. 15 minutes later, the coughing began. At first, just a soft clearing of the throat. Then, it escalated. Her hands gripped the edge of the table. Her breathing became shallow and strained. "Something's wrong," she gasped. Julian rushed to her side, full of concern. "To perfectly time to feel real." As they scrambled to get her to the hospital, one thought echoed in my mind: that poison was meant for me.